I think probably the biggest reason and the biggest motivating factor for me to be a clinical specialist is the patient themselves. And I remember often, specifically, an in-service I went to. There was a young 16-year-old patient who had suffered a motorcycle accident, and he had a high cervical C-spine injury, and he was at a skilled nursing facility that normally did not take ventilator patients, but he was on the ventilator, and I was planning an in-service in the area, and they said, "Oh, your timing couldn't be more perfect. We have our first ventilator patient, and he's awake and alert and trying to communicate. His mother and father live far from here, and it would be really awesome if we could put a valve on him." So I went to that facility. I gave them my presentation, and they took me to his room, as we often get to go to the bedside and help assist with a valve placement. Went to the bedside, and there was this young boy who could not communicate, who was very frightened. Only his father was there because his mother was home taking care of his younger siblings. And so we deflated his cuff very slowly. We put the valve in line, and he spoke his first words for, I believe he'd been voiceless for probably 2 or 3 months at this point in time. He spoke his very first words. His voice was excellent and clear. His quality was good. He was so happy. Tears ran down his face. All the staff in the room was crying. His father was standing behind him throughout the whole thing with tears streaming down his face. And his dad said, "Can we call his mom? She's home taking care of the other children." So he got his cell phone out and he called the mother. And when she heard his voice, he said, "Hi, Mom." And when she heard his voice, even though it was on the cell phone, you could hear her screaming and crying in the background. She was so thrilled to hear her son's voice she hadn't heard for several months. And when I left that facility, the director of respiratory walked me out. And he was a very religious man. And he walked me out and he shook my hand and he wouldn't let go of it. And he said, "I cannot thank you enough for coming." He said, "I'm quite sure you are an angel that was touched by God, and you were sent to us at the exact right time just for this boy." And I think of that moment in time where I felt so special that day because I had gone in and helped that just one single young man who was never going to come off the ventilator, and what that valve must have meant to him for his quality of life as he continued down this road he never planned on being down, and the things that opened up for him, the avenues that opened up for him for communication, for eating, for being able to use a sip and puff wheelchair, for mobility, just all of the things that opened up for him. He would have never maybe had a chance to have that. And that's probably one of my biggest motivators, is just being able to go to the patient's bedside and to see the impact that it has not only on the patient, but the staff and the patient's families.